Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Boy, the one thing I can talk about, the one thing I think is so important for us to realize is the one thing that we can count on in life, the one thing that is sure to happen is change. Everything eventually changes. And so it doesn't matter what we're referring to. Life changes continually, and it's changing faster now than probably ever before because of technology. But let's look at how change can affect fishing. And I think, there's a number of factors that take place here. Right now we're in the fall transition. So what that means is that maybe even every day the fish's habits, depending on the species, is going to change subtly. If they're on a migration, they're going to be someplace different tomorrow than they are today. If their metabolism slows down and they require a different type of setting, then they're going to move from one place to another place. And I find that so much in the Grass River. But the other thing that we have to realize is our environment around us is constantly changing. Maybe we just look at the four seasons and how each season it gives a bigger or a different backdrop to what fishing experience will be at that time. But even more than that, the fish's life cycle is constantly under change. And the other thing to realize too is, and this is something that really has become obvious to me, it's possible that their preference for food and therefore a lure is going to change as the environment, as time, all changes. And finally, if we're a fisherman, we have to take all this into consideration. The lures that we use in the spring might not work as good in the fall. The way we fish in the summer has got to be different in the fall, depending on where we're fishing. For me in particular, fishing in the Grass River so much of the time that I do, it's a whole different experience now. And where I could count on one stretch of river to render me maybe 100 fish a day, I'm lucky to catch 2 or 3 or maybe 0 in that same stretch of river now because things have changed. And finally, the weather. The weather has brought changes, permanent and temporary both. But some of the permanent changes have brought different species into our area. And also, and using very specifically the flood that we had this summer, that's changed the course of everything around us, from the rivers to the roadbeds to the wetlands to everything is a little different now because of change. So if we can accept change and we can constantly being ready to adapt to new situations, I think it will not only allow us to enjoy and maybe even be a better fisherman, but also to accept and make the best out of those other changes in our life that we might look on negatively rather than look on as life changes. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.